Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Again, I am so happy to see you and have you as a part of our beautiful Unite Inside family. And in this video, I want to talk about people pleasing and why is it that if you are a people pleaser, why is it that you have the hardest life ever? And how is it that people that seem to be very good, very loving, tend to have pretty hard lives? And also in this video, I just want to unpack the pattern of people pleasing and how can you actually release yourself from it if you are a people pleaser. Because from my own life, I have been a people pleaser and I have suffered from not living the life that I want and not really getting what I want out of other people or even circumstances. And there is a reason for that. Okay, so let's begin. The first thing I want to talk about is how do you even become a people pleaser? And a lot of people actually don't even remember that this is what they went through. But in my own experience, it actually took me a long time to finally come face to face with the trauma I've been through in my childhood. And so, because of this trauma, what happened to me is that I was going through this abuse where every time I would be myself, or every time I would do something good for myself, or I would be myself, or even stand up for myself, I will get punished, mistreated, gaslighted, manipulated. And that's what a lot of people went through in their childhood that suffer from intense people pleasing. People pleasing is a pattern that you've been set to be in through experiencing this pattern of punishment. Basically, you don't get your needs met unless if you're being a pleaser. You probably had a parent that was, or a caregiver that was extremely conditional with their love. So instead of like giving you love because you deserve it, because you're a child, they made you feel like you don't deserve it unless if you do as they say, and it also made you feel like maybe every time you would do something good for yourself or try to express your feelings or your perspective, you've been walked on, you've been dismissed, you've been ignored, you've been treated like you're selfish if you did something good for yourself, and treated like you're hated, selfish. And selfish means bad, and so bad means that you don't get what you want. Bad people don't get what they want. Bad kids or naughty kids don't get what they want, and they also get um, treated really bad and also you know not respected. And so you felt like in order for me to keep surviving in this environment and in order for me to get what I want, my needs met, like my emotional needs met, which is the need for connection, the need for belonging, the need for safety. And these needs are very, very important, and they are literally very they're even more important than eating, literally, because we are emotional beings and we are emotionally relying, um, we are emotionally dependent beings on other people, on other relationships to fulfill these needs to us. And it's like there has been this study that's been made about how there is a baby that someone started ignoring and not giving them any connection, not giving them any validation, not giving them any acknowledgement, and the baby ended up dying. Even though they were eating, the baby was getting taken care of when it comes to their food and also clothing and stuff like that and shelter, but the baby was not getting their emotional needs met, so they literally died. So that's how important emotional interaction is as a little kid. So as a little kid, you look at it as, I'm gonna die, like it feels like dying, literally, like not getting your emotional needs met feels like equals death. So you had to survive, you had to find some type of way. So what did you do? You started playing this game of, you figured out that if you can just make them think that maybe you're not on your side, maybe you don't actually love yourself, maybe you don't actually care about yourself, you made it seem like your own needs are not important so that you can get so that they can feel less threatened and leave you alone and stop attacking you and stop making you feel horrible, and so that you can get your emotional needs met. So that's what you did. But this pattern has been ruining your life. And this is what happens, is that later on in our life, in our adulthood, we start to have all these issues with ourselves. And so the reason why I want to tell you about the background of why do you have people pleasing is because I want to tell you that you have picked up a dysfunctional way of treating yourself, a dysfunctional way of loving yourself, a dysfunctional way of getting your needs met. And so it's not like a people pleaser doesn't love themselves. They're pleasing other people so that they can get what they want. But it actually is hurting them, because they are stuck in this pattern of abandonment, self-abandonment. When you abandon yourself and you abandon yourself fully, like you just don't care about yourself anymore, you're very passive about your needs, you don't express them, you don't even think that you deserve them. What happens in that moment is that um, you basically tell the universe that I no longer think that I deserve to be loved. I no longer think that I deserve. It's like, because you're taking action on the fact that you don't think that you deserve to be loved, you don't think that you deserve to be appreciated, you think that you should appreciate them and love them first so that you can get what you want. And so you're sending that signal to the universe. You're telling the universe, I actually don't care about myself. And so that's why the universe keeps sending you people that don't care about you. It's like it's whatever you have inward is being mirrored outside. And so that's why there's something very, very important that I want to talk about this specific pattern. And something that a lot of people pleasers need to wake up to is that we actually do have control. We do have control over our reality. We're not just helpless people. And a lot of people pleasers have been helpless in their childhood. They have been in a situation where they've been victimized, where they didn't have any other option but to give up on themselves. But as an adult, you still hold those fears inward. The fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of what will people think about me? What if people think that I'm a bad person? What if people think that I don't deserve love? You care too much about what people think. You put what people think, their opinions, their feelings, everything about them on a pedestal, because you think that if you focus on them, their feelings, their opinions, that's how you get what you want out of life. Because as a little kid, that's what you thought. As a little kid, that's the view that you had of life, is that your mom or your dad are the authority. They're the ones that have power. They're the ones that feed you. They're the ones that take care of you. And therefore you have to please them. And therefore you have to make sure that that's why you overly tune into their feelings, so that you can walk on eggshells. You do that so that you can prevent hurt. You do this so that you can realize, like, you tune into them to see, okay, when are they gonna get mad? And then when they get mad, you perceive that as, I'm being abandoned. I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting my needs met. And so that basically becomes something that controls you for the rest of your life. What controls you is other people's validation, other people's opinions. And it's because deep down, you don't have that confidence. Deep down, you don't trust yourself. The self-trust have been destroyed from such a young age because of that pattern of self-abandonment, because of that pattern of punishment. Because every time you did something good for yourself, you've been fought for, you've been fought with, you've been hurt. When you fight with a little kid about something that they want to do that feels good to them, it makes them feel like they failed at doing something good for themselves. It makes them feel like maybe they shouldn't trust themselves because they trusted themselves and they got hurt. So that hurt, that pain, that grief, that sadness underneath actually becomes something that you want to avoid for the rest of your life, because it is literally a heartbreak. It is a heartache. That's what it is. And so a lot of people pleasers have such a grief that you need to process, so that you can stop being controlled by other people's opinions and by other people's validation, and so that you can break free and actually become someone that have their own mindset, their own judgment about their life and about who they are, and not that you are someone that only gets um, who you are or your sense of self from what other people think about you. So that is the core issue about people pleasing in general, is that what you need to do is look at every time you feel scared, you feel like you need to do as you've been told, you feel like you need to please someone, you feel like you need to it's basically like a trauma, it's like a trauma response, it's a fight or flight trauma response, it's called fawn mode. And this mode is like you go immediately into pleasing other people so that you can prevent anything bad from happening to you. So you feel unsafe. So what I want you to do here is get a paper and a pen, and every time you feel this way, you feel like you need to jump off and please someone, write down in that paper, what am I scared of right now? What am I scared of that's going to happen if I don't do that? If I don't do what they want me to say right now? If I don't just act up on everything that they want? Like, for example, maybe someone around you is throwing a tantrum, an adult tantrum, and they want something immediately, and you feel like you need to make it happen. Or what? Write it down. Maybe you feel like you're going to be abandoned. You're going to be looked at as a bad person. You're going to be treated horribly. You're going to be disrespected. You're going to lose your worth, your value. Okay? And then all these things, I want you to question them. Like, for example, if you're afraid of losing your value, you have to ask yourself, do you really believe that your value is in pleasing other people? Do you really believe that you don't have value as you are? And if you don't believe that, then that is an issue. Deep down, you feel very insecure. And that's something that needs to be processed through meditation, through practices, through inner work, doing lots of shadow work, journaling, confronting your fears. There's a lot of things that you can do. I have many videos about this. You can basically like ask yourself, what are my fears, and start to change, like actually find what is the core belief. Like the core belief is, I am not worthy. I'm not worthy. So I have to prove myself. I have to do as I say. I have to overdo everything. I have to overgive. I have to do all these things just so that I can feel that I have value. That's you trying to get value because you don't believe that you have value. So that's the issue. We have to go into the actual underneath core reason why we might be going through an issue like this. We might be experiencing people pleasing. And that is the only way out, is to actually take responsibility for your trauma. Even though it is something that you've been a victim of, you, as an adult, you can take full responsibility of it. And that is one of the most important things that I want to talk about in this video, is that at some point in our lives, we become the ones that have a bad relationship with ourselves. We become the ones that judge ourselves, treat ourselves like shit, let go of our own boundaries, betray ourselves, not trust our intuition. And it is all because of one root issue, like I just said, not feeling worthy. Not feeling worthy enough, so you feel that maybe I shouldn't believe my intuition because you're scared. If I believe my intuition, what if I believe it and I'm wrong? And I never get someone that actually loves me. That's one of the things that a lot of people get stuck in toxic relationships for, because of. Because a lot of times you might meet someone that you know 100% they're not the ones for you. There is red flags. They don't treat you good. And you still gaslight yourself and you tell yourself, actually, I can do it. They can love me. It's because you, why are you saying that I can fix them? It's because you feel that if you don't, that's your only way of getting love, is if this person doesn't love you, then no one else is gonna love you. If when someone comes into your life and they don't treat you good, it triggers you. It instantly triggers that wound of not feeling good enough. It instantly does. As someone that's been through a lot of trauma, that's the first thing that gets triggered in you, is feeling like, oh my God, there must be something wrong with me. You instantly make it about you. You never think maybe they're a bad person. Maybe they are an uneducated person. Maybe they don't know how to treat people. You instantly think it is me. Oh my God, it's another experience. in which someone isn't giving me what I want, isn't treating me the way I deserve to be treated, maybe there is something wrong with me. But I want to tell you here that there is nothing wrong with you. It isn't about that. It has never been about you. It has been about the feeling of unworthiness that you feel within yourself that made you get stuck in situations like that. Because when you do that, it triggers your need for proving yourself. Oh, now I need to prove myself because I don't even think that I deserve love. So you just feel it like it's personal for you because you've been through it before. You've been through it in your whole childhood, you know? And so it is understandable, but once you start doing the inner work, once you start letting go of these patterns, once you start changing the way you feel about yourself, the way you look at yourself, you don't see yourself as someone that's not worthy anymore. You can recognize your own value. What happens is that when someone comes into your life and they don't treat you good, you don't make it about yourself. You look at them as, okay, you're not the one for me, that you don't have what I want, you don't have what I require, you don't respect my boundaries, and I love myself, and I know that someone else will do that. I know that someone else will respect my boundaries. I believe that in my heart. I believe in my own value. It's about faith. It's about developing that faith in yourself. Okay? And that is something that you can um, basically apply on everything when it comes to every single issue that you go through when it comes to people pleasing, including judging yourself, hating on yourself, blaming yourself for things that you didn't even do, being harsh on yourself. All those things, you can basically reverse them by going inward and asking yourself, why do you treat yourself this way? It's all because of some beliefs that are not good for you, that are limiting beliefs that you have underneath, you know? And so once you start taking responsibility, what happens is that you become someone that, because a lot of times we don't understand that we literally have a relationship with ourselves. We are responsible for the way we treat ourselves because the way we treat ourselves matters. We get affected by the way we treat ourselves. If you are harsh with yourself, you're going to let other people be harsh with you. If you are loving and accepting of yourself, you're not going to tolerate being disrespected. If you have a habit of letting your feelings be hurt, you're going to let someone hurt you. If you have a habit of not respecting your own boundaries, like sometimes we literally cross our own boundaries. As people pleasers, we go out of our way to not do what we want because we're so terrified. It is like a bad game that we're playing with ourselves. It is this game that we're like, okay, we're only listening to our ego. Our ego wants validation. Our ego wants attention. And so we think, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pretend that we just don't love ourselves. We're not going to be upfront about our needs. You know, we're going to take it from a passive approach. You know, we're just going to pretend that we're just not interested in ourselves. Just it's a manipulation because we are interested in ourselves, but we don't feel that we should be interested in ourselves. We feel this feeling of we're bad, we're selfish. You know, it's judging ourselves. You know, and then we feel like, okay, well, the only way out is to pretend that we're not on our own team, just so that we can get what we want. And that is not how you get what you want in this world, because when it comes to the universe doesn't like that. The universe likes it when you're direct, when you're like, okay, I do care about this. This is what I want. When you decide, this is what I want, this is important for me, my boundaries, my feelings, love, respect are important for me, you know? When you do that, the universe sends you someone that does that for you, you know? So that's how important it is to take responsibility. You know, it is very important to fix this dysfunctional relationship that you have with yourself. A lot of people think it is myself. I don't need to treat myself like a queen. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have this judgment inside yourself. If you just went and I just want to tell you this, which is very important that you can do, go on a meditation, okay? And then start looking at how do you feel about yourself? And then focus on how does that make you feel? To feel this way about yourself, to feel bad about yourself, to think you're a bad person, to think all these horrible things about yourself, to think you're not worthy, you don't have worth, all of that. Would you think those things about someone that you love? Would you think those things about someone that, like your soulmate or something? Would you do that? You probably wouldn't. You probably would not treat yourself this way. Would you give up on yourself and things that bring you so much pain? And instead of setting boundaries and protecting yourself, would you not protect the people that you love? You probably would be like, no, that's not true. I would definitely protect them. And so you are someone that you should love. Okay? And a lot of people pleasers have this like love within them that they love everybody else but themselves. And I want to tell you this, which is very important, that it is actually the love that you have for yourself that you just don't feel like you can give yourself. And that's why you need other people so that you can give it to them. But why don't you give it to yourself? I know it's not the easiest thing. Like I said, it's gonna take dedication. It's gonna take um, inner work. It's gonna take confronting the shadow of your people pleasing. That's the thing. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this video. Is just confronting what are the shadow Sal? What are the shadow parts? And I'm gonna just give you an example of that. The shadow parts of your people pleasing is the ego part of you that wants validation, that is willing to sacrifice your actual like feelings, who you actually are, and um, the love that you have for yourself and your actual love for yourself. It's willing to like basically give it up so that it can get attention and love. And that is a form of greed. That is a form of greed. You are so greedy for other people's attention and validation. You want it so bad, you're willing to give up on who you actually are. And that is an evil thing that you're doing with yourself. That's not a nice thing to do for yourself. That is not nice at all. That's actually selfish. You're being selfish with yourself. What does that mean? I know that this sounds really weird, but you are not just one person. Within yourself, there is multiple parts of you. And if you don't listen to every part of you, and if you don't make sure that they all feel good and you only follow one part, like your ego, that's you being selfish with yourself. That's you refusing to give other parts of you an opportunity to have a say in your own life. Because, especially your intuition, your honesty, the part of you that's authentic, all those parts of you need to be heard by you, and you are blocking them out of fear. Just do like a checkup with your body every time you wanna people please, and you'll see that you are literally abandoning and pushing away a part of you that is probably telling you the truth in that moment. It's probably telling you, don't give up on yourself. Don't people please. Don't please them. Do this is what's right, but you're too scared to take that action. So you have to take responsibility if you want to get rid of people pleasing for good and actually become someone that's able of having good relationships. You have to fix the bad relationship that you have with yourself. Okay, so I hope that this video helped you. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video about how can you get rid of people pleasing and what are some steps that you can actually take. Let's talk in more details in other videos, and I hope that you like this video. I love you so much, and I hope to see you very, very soon. If you are struggling with people pleasing and you would really love someone that can help you with this, I would love to take you on this journey. So if you are interested, don't forget to contact me via Facebook, and you're gonna see this in the information section of the video. So I would love to do this, and I love you so much, and I'll see you soon.